right, so putzing around a little bit tonight. Got the blade on this one balanced really nicely, as in the video I just posted earlier. And then I was kind of looking at the ivory project, which kind of got delayed here. The wrinkle finish, the 77648 AO back there. This shaft on here is really, I mean, it's really chewed up, and it was even hard getting the rotor off of there. And I managed to get one of my little Dremel polishing nibs in there, fit perfectly. So I loaded it up with some Blue Magic and polished the bejesus out of it as best I could. You know, the shaft is still kind of chewed up and got some grooves on it. I mean, I don't know. The rotor spins kind of nice on there now, better than it did, but I still think I'm going to try to knock this out. I learned how to do that. Paul Graves sent me some good info, and so I'm gonna pop that out, and I may take one from this one. I mean, it's kind of a shame. This is an SG that's not terrible, but I got it on a partial trade. I mean, it apparently fell off a refrigerator. Blade is beat to snot. You know, I'm just gonna use it as a parts fan, and I kind of hate to do that, but you know, so be it. I can't just take this housing and sandblast it and put wrinkle finish on it, because it is the different style later housing that's kind of a skeletal look there, kind of like the old Centuries. But I'm thinking I'm gonna, even though the stator in this one is good, I think I'm gonna go ahead and just use everything from this. I need a switch for it because this one didn't have it, so I'm gonna use the switch and the pan. And I think I might use the stator and the rotor and the shaft. So I'm going to take the shaft out of here, put it in here, and then I'm going to, I think, use it, because I don't know for sure if this switch would be compatible with the earlier stator. I probably, but you know, we're talking 6 years apart between this fan and that fan. This is from 54, that's from 48, and probably would be fine. They're both 0.7 amp fans. This one's 0.75, the AO is 0.7. But just in the interest of keeping everything pretty much the same, I mean, I know the stators are going to fit size wise, but I think I'm going to go ahead and just use the stator, the rotor, the shaft, and the switch from this one in here. I just think that's going to be a better solution than trying to use the original stator and maybe the rotor from this one, because I'm just worried that the inside of that rotor is not gonna, if this shaft is really nice, which I think it probably is, the inside of that rotor is probably really nice, and I just like to keep those together rather than, you know, use the rotor from this one that might be kind of chewed up on the inside. Because you know, if this has got grooves on it, this has probably got a groove in there. And I just, you know, I think that's what I'm gonna do. So, but yeah, also interesting. So on other fans that I've done like this with this sort of skeletal housing, there's always been 3 long wires coming out, or longer, and then those plastic crimp connectors like this on there. And they're, you can tell they're old. You know, I don't know when these were invented, but I always thought, well, maybe those were created, you know, back then, and those were original. But now I'm starting to think, after seeing this one, I'm starting to think that those stators were replacement stators when I've seen them like that, where the wires are coming out and there's a plastic crimp connector. Because I think my ivory, my 12-inch non-wrinkle finish ivory AV from 1949 had that. And that supposedly, when I was thinking that was original, did not come along until I thought these skeletal models in like 54, 53, maybe 54 at least. But now seeing this with having the head wire going in there, I'm starting to think that those were probably replacement stators, or, you know, stators were taken out and rewound, whatever, at a shop. Anyway,